The story takes place in the near future, on a farm equipped with advanced technology. A married couple, Layla and Jack, live there and manage their agricultural business. They are awakened by the alarm, as the artificial intelligence announces the condition of all specimens. They rely on new technologies, believing this will save their business from the collapse that has overtaken agriculture in their time. Layla often thinks about their son, Toby. But there is too much work on the farm, so there is hardly any time to feel sad. Hearing an alert about a system malfunction, Layla rushes to the barn laboratory and helps Jack release a cow from stasis. This was not supposed to happen yet, it is too early. Diagnostics show that the animal has a number of genetic defects. There is no other choice but to resort to euthanasia. In the evening after finishing all the farm work, the couple has dinner. Later while it rains outside, Layla writes a message to Toby, who is now studying at school. She can't wait to see him during the holidays. But because of poor internet connection, the message does not go through. Layla recalls the last time she hugged her son. The next morning she immerses herself again in her daily chores, while Jack tries to optimize the farm's operations. In the evening the couple engages in their usual, unremarkable conversations. Layla misses her son terribly and tells Jack about her plans to paint Toby's room. The following day, entering the barn to fetch parts for fixing the mixer, she hears disturbing noises coming from one of the tanks. Jack walks in and explains that he is making adjustments and running tests. Perhaps this will help solve their problem. Jack also mentions that a new livestock specialist will soon arrive. The global climate crisis has dealt a devastating blow to the agricultural sector, but recently revolutionary solutions in livestock breeding have been developed. After scanning the original specimen, a special system can recreate a market-ready animal in just 2 weeks. At the agreed time, the new stockman Brady arrives. Layla gives him a list of their clients and the delivery schedule. Brady remarks that it took forever to reach this farm. It really is far away. The couple shows Brady the livestock, and they notice that one animal is missing. But according to the tracker, the specimen is within range. They find the poor creature dying. Once again Jack has to perform a merciful euthanasia. He doesn't want his wife to witness it. Lately this has been happening far too often. During dinner, Layla tells her husband that she would like to take a few days off to rest from work and visit Toby. Since it would be difficult for Jack to manage everything alone, Brady could help him while she's away. Jack doesn't really like the idea, since they hardly know Brady. The woman suggests at least thinking it over, which irritates her husband. Later, the man approaches her and apologizes for his behavior. He must be tired too. And of course he doesn't mind if Layla visits Toby. Jack also notices that his wife isn't wearing her wedding ring. She took it off out of habit, as she always does while washing the dishes. Before going to bed while painting the walls in her son's room, Layla notices that the paint doesn't stick well. That night a thunderstorm breaks out, and the power generator starts to falter. An alarm sounds in the barn laboratory, and Layla immediately runs there. When she hears several gunshots, her panic intensifies. Entering the barn, the woman first switches on the backup generator. The next second she sees Jack lying on the floor wounded. According to him, the cows went wild and knocked him down. He assumes the animals were simply frightened by the storm, so he had to shoot to scare them off. Layla grabs the first aid kit in the kitchen, when suddenly she hears their dog barking. She steps outside and calls the animal, but the barking has stopped. The farm is surrounded by the eerie silence of the night after the storm. Layla finds the dog cowering in a corner. The poor thing must have been frightened by the lightning and thunder as well. Yet the uneasy feeling doesn't leave her, as if something else is happening, something wrong. She tells her husband that someone broke into the shed. It couldn't have been a fox or any other wild animal. But Jack is in no state to deal with it, suffering from a head injury. At one point he loses consciousness and collapses to the floor. Layla doesn't sleep all night, sitting by his bed. In the morning her husband still hasn't woken up. Suddenly Layla hears footsteps behind the door and presses her ear against it, listening closely. Someone is moving things around in the kitchen. Gathering her courage, the woman opens the door and sees clear signs of someone's presence. But the intruder himself is nowhere to be found. Layla takes a rifle and checks the farm's perimeter. Every rustle makes her flinch. She doesn't see the hooded figure hiding nearby. Suddenly the person attacks her, but Layla manages to fight back. She grabs the rifle and aims it at the intruder. However, she lowers the barrel in shock as she realizes the hooded person is herself. Taking advantage of her confusion, the double escapes. Afterward, Layla sits on the grass, crying helplessly. What was that? Could it have been a hallucination? Jack still lies unconscious in bed. Layla inspects the barn laboratory, trying to understand what is happening. Then on a nearby tree, she leaves a note for her double, asking to meet in the greenhouse. The woman feels herself slowly losing her mind. Finally Jack regains consciousness. Layla offers him some water. Her hands are shaking but she tries not to show that something is wrong. Despite feeling unwell, Jack has no intention of postponing his work. The escaped livestock must be rounded up. Layla tries to convince him to rest a little longer, but he just waves her off. Perhaps work is merely an excuse. While Jack is busy with his tasks, Layla, on the verge of breaking down, goes to the greenhouse and actually sees her double there. The second Layla has an infection in her eyes, just like the infected animals. Without timely treatment, the animals usually survive for a day or two. Both Laylas share the same memories. The woman cannot understand why Jack did this. The first Layla has no answer. The second Layla knows that Jack is looking for her. The woman suggests taking her clone to the hospital, where she could receive proper treatment. But the car won't start. Jack appears and asks what she is doing. Layla, hiding her clone, has to go inside the house with him because his head is splitting, and he wants her to take a look. Brady arrives. While Jack is talking to the stockman, the two Laylas try to figure out what to do. Perhaps leaving with Brady is their only way out. Hiding in the barn laboratory, the women overhear through the surveillance cameras that Jack is dismissing the stockman, saying there's no more work for him. The first Layla runs there to stop Brady, but she's too late, he's already gone. Jack has already found the note and directly asks his wife where the clone is. He says she's sick and needs help. But Layla doesn't believe his noble intentions, knowing that he tried to get rid of her clone. Those gunshots were clearly meant for her. Jack explains that the second Layla attacked him in the barn. She's confused and doesn't understand what she's doing. If they delay, the second Layla will soon die from the infection. The woman decides to trust her husband, the man she has known for so many years. They find the clone half conscious in the barn. Jack explains that she wasn't supposed to wake up, it was only a test. Their business is collapsing, so they have to do something. Many wealthy people would pay generously for the chance to grow their own clones. They place the clone on an IV drip with a high dose of nutrients and stem cells. A motion sensor alarm goes off. Brady has returned. While Jack goes to send the stockman away, Layla tends to her clone, thinking of Toby. The second Layla regains consciousness and starts to panic. Brady insists that he's not going anywhere because he needs this job. He reminds Jack that he kept his word and didn't say anything to Layla, just as Jack asked. But the man remains adamant. Meanwhile, after finding an empty vial in the trash, Layla realizes that the fourth actually contains euthanasia fluid used for animals. She immediately shuts off the valve. The women then try to escape, but the barn turns out to be locked. Jack pulls out a gun, implying that Brady should leave. And he does. When the man unsuspectingly enters the barn, the two Laylas, having switched clothes beforehand, use deception to take him hostage, demanding that he let them go. Jack tries to convince his wife that they should be on the same side, but the women leave him no choice. To prevent him from following them, they plan to lock him in one of the rooms. Jack tells his wife that he only wanted to protect what they've been working on for so many years. He didn't tell her because he knew she would never agree to it. Taking advantage of a moment, Jack snatches the rifle from her hands. Layla shields her clone, begging him to stop. At that moment, Brady knocks Jack out from behind, and the women escape with him. But the man quickly regains consciousness and starts chasing them. Eventually they manage to reach the car and drive away. The cloned Layla's condition worsens. They don't get far, as the car soon stalls. Meanwhile, Jack, consumed by rage, takes off after them in another vehicle. There's a tracker implanted in the specimen, so he knows exactly which way they've gone. It's already deep into the night. The fugitives have no choice but to cross the fields on foot. There's no signal, so calling for help is impossible. The clone barely has the strength to keep walking. Jack finds his wife's abandoned SUV on the roadside, which means they must be nearby. The fugitives take shelter in an old, deserted barn. While Layla tends to her sick clone, Brady finds some tools. They might come in handy to repair the SUV. The clone regrets never getting to see Toby because to her, he feels like a son. Layla promises that it will still happen, that they'll take her to a hospital where she'll get help. The women could tell everyone they're twin sisters. Meanwhile, Brady is trying to repair the truck when he suddenly senses he's not alone. Jack attacks him from behind and injects something into him, causing Brady to convulse. Jack prepares to resume the chase. Morning comes. Looking out the window, Layla sees the approaching SUV and thinks it's Brady. She immediately wakes her weakened clone and grabs the wedding ring. In that same moment, she realizes that the person outside isn't Brady. The women hide. Jack enters the building. According to the tracker, the clone is here. He tries to convince his wife that it isn't worth it, that they should be on the same side. But both women stay hidden. Using a diversion, they escape from the building, but the clone can no longer walk. Her body is breaking down. The clone wants Layla to go on alone and reunite with Toby, otherwise Jack will never let her go. Layla understands there's no other choice. It tears her apart, but she leaves the clone behind and runs on by herself. Shortly after, Jack finds the second Layla lifeless. In her palm lies the wedding ring. Jack takes it, and the next second he hears the engine of the SUV start up. He rushes out onto the road, forcing Layla to brake. He pleads with her to think about their family. But Layla resolute steps on the gas, forcing Jack to jump aside. She drives to the nearest payphone and calls the school where her son studies. But according to the principal, Toby hasn't been a student there for several years. Confused and frightened, Layla drives on and stops near another school, where she sees Toby among the other children. A woman who looks exactly like Layla comes to pick him up. How many copies of her exist? She drives to their city apartment and finds a divorce certificate and a restraining order against Jack. Toby walks in, having forgotten his water bottle. The boy looks puzzled, wondering why his mother is home. She's supposed to be at work. Layla just hugs him tightly. He's grown so much since the last time she saw him. The woman can't hold back her tears, knowing this will be the last time she ever sees him. All the memories feel so real, as if they truly happened to her, the time when she and Jack were happy together, when their son was everything to them. Gathering her strength, the woman goes to the hospital where the original Layla works, only to catch a brief glimpse of her. Meanwhile, Jack collects everything he needs and pours gasoline across the barn floor, but he doesn't have time to set it on fire. Layla's clone arrives, one of many. She has nowhere else to go, and they both know it. Jack admits that all he ever wanted was to be happy with his beloved wife. But each clone ended up as unhappy with him as the original. He doesn't know how to let her go. Layla suggests pretending that nothing happened and going back to how things were. Jack agrees. Before bed, he tells her how much he loves her and promises that everything will be different from now on. But after lulling him into a false sense of security, Layla ends his life. Early in the morning she walks to the barn laboratory, her mind already made up. Now Layla is the rightful owner of the farm. In the final scene, we see her calling a younger version of her son Toby to come in for dinner. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel not to miss more exciting new products. Also, the authors will be pleased if you leave your opinion in the comments.